morning, everybody. So my dad is at Lowe's right now getting some supplies for our cabinet build over there for the plumbing and all of that. So I decided that I was going to surprise him and clean up this nano tank. Hello, little. Oh, guys, are we gonna be in the video? Yeah? Okay. Oh, the love. All the love. Surprisingly, it's doing very, very well with all the plants and stuff, but as you can see, there's a lot of algae on the glass, so I'm going to scrape all that off. I'm going to make sure there's no dead leaves or anything, and if there are, I'm going to cut them off. I got all my supplies with me, so I'm going to add a few plants in here as well, and make this tank look sparkling clean. So enjoy the montage and do a little time lapse just because I am in a little bit of a hurry since I'm trying to surprise him, and I've got another surprise for him as well that I will give him when he gets home. So before I started cleaning the tank, I wanted to explain what's going on in this little 3-gallon nano. So this is a very new tank. Y'all seen the build video on my channel, and this is very, very normal for a new tank, or any tank for that matter. Honestly, it looks not great in this shot right now, but all of this algae right here is all on the glass. There's actually very little inside of the tank and on the plants and rocks and wood and stuff. So this tank is actually maturing very well. Because if you come on the side over here, you can actually see the roots of the hair grass coming down into the substrate. So it's going to try to find the aqua soil that I put in there, and it's growing very well. Even the repens are beautiful. And what I'll probably do is I'll probably move some of those right there up into the foreground or on the other side, probably over here, to be honest. Right over here to fill in this area. I've got a few plants to put in here, but I just want to clean up the tank and get it looking good. As you can see, the evaporation is crazy on this tank. And honestly, I'm not sure why, for the fact that it has most of the lid. So usually my tanks with lids like this don't evaporate as quickly, but this tank for some reason likes to evaporate very quickly. But you can see this is just dust and algae and just whatever's in the tank. The filter in the back there is a slow flow filter for bettas and shrimp. So when the water's this low, there's very little surface agitation. So you actually get this little bit of a film on the top. That's just, I don't know, dust and dirt and whatever else can get in the tank from your house, and also just any kind of biological matter. So we also have a Anubias leaf that got out of the water, and it does not like being out of the water, but this Anubias was grown outside of water, so some of the leaves have already died back. However, once you cut those leaves, it comes back so much better and so much prettier and so much stronger. So I'm going to start cleaning this tank and get this little show off a clean tank. So we can see them better because we can't hardly see through the algae. Alright, so part of this renovation of the nano tank is the filter cleanup. So I've already wiped some of these sides off and everything, but as you can see, it's pretty nasty looking. But honestly, that is nasty to our eyes, but it's actually really good for the system. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse this off, and I'm also going to rinse off the ceramic media that came with it as well, and also the sponge, the pre-filter, and then this little thing pops off like that. And then this pops off as well to get to the impeller. And I'm going to be rinsing all of this off in tap water. It's kind of a controversial topic. However, there's so much beneficial bacteria inside of the tank itself that a little bit of chlorine is not going to hurt them, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse these guys off. And as soon as I rinse them off, they're going to be going right back into the tank. So the few seconds, 10, 20 seconds of chlorine on them will not harm them. I actually learned that from Jason from Primetime Aquatics, and probably one of his podcasts that he does or something. I'm not sure. I watch all kinds of stuff with him. He's a microbiology professor, and he said that in one video, and I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. So I started doing it, and I've been doing it for a while, and nothing bad has happened. So I even do that with my canister filters. I do that with all kinds of stuff. So as long as the media isn't in chlorine for too long, it's perfectly fine. And you honestly have enough beneficial bacteria on your decorations, the wood, rock, plants, the sides of the tank, I mean everything. So nothing bad has happened to me so far, and I've been doing it for a very long time. Tippity tip coming your way. If you don't have one of those bottle brushes and you want to clean inside of one of your filter anything, tubing, whatever, you take a paper towel like this and just take a corner and then just start rolling it up tight like that, and then stick it inside of the tubing. And then as you stick it inside of it, you can grab it right here and twist this to make it tighter, and then just keep doing that until you get pretty much all the paper towel, as much as you possibly can, into the tube, and kind of just smush it down in there. But as you do it, you can rotate it and it gets all the way down in there. And then when you have this little bit left, you just kind of rotate the whole thing and it cleans. Hopefully you can see that, but it cleans all of the inside as well. And then what you can do too is rotate it the opposite way, and then it cleans that way as well. Now with this, I do have one of these on my stand right now, and I'll just kind of push that inside of the slats just to get all of the gunk out, all the gunk and algae and whatever else, and just kind of clean the outside. And now you got a clean filter. And there we have it. We've got a brand new tank. No, not really. But everything is done. All the water changed. It's a little cloudy right now just because I did a lot of stuff to this tank. I added some plants. I added some more substrate in it as well. And just kind of did a rehaul of this tank. So what I'm going to do now, I'll flip the camera around and I will show you what I did to the tank and kind of explain what's going on and why I did what I did. All right, so first and foremost, I put these pothos in the back here, and I use these little wire clips in the back. Whoops, turn the light off. And it'll hold those on the wall, and as they get mature, they'll actually grip to the wall, and then we can keep training wherever he wants them to go. And then I took all of the algae off the glass. It's beautiful now. Look at that. Look at that, Betta. Show off. He's a little show off. I love this little guy. He'll actually end up getting moved to my fish room whenever I get a tankscape for him, and I actually got a Betta for my dad. So he's under treatment right now for some odd reason. He's not doing so hot, so hopefully he makes it through. So the Repens right here is doing amazing, but some of the ones I put in here were in the back and then behind this rock and under the filter. So they weren't getting enough light, I don't think, and they weren't doing so well. So I moved them to this side of the tank to fill in this little area here. And then all through the back, I put some Crypt Wendeti green, and that one might be a red. Either way, I'll give some color to the tank, which will be awesome. And then you can see the pothos sticking right here. As it gets more roots and stuff, we can kind of move it around and train it. The pothos is actually something that I unpotted, and it wasn't doing so well in the pot, so I took all the good stuff off. And some of them has roots, some of them don't. So I am using them in stapes now. First time ever using pothos, but I think this tank doesn't have as much fast growers in it that I would like. So with that pothos, the roots that are in the water will suck up all the excess nutrients and help with the algae. I also added another crypt right there. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what it's called, but that actually will stay low and it'll fill that whole entire area up really, really nice. I also took back some of the dead leaves that were in there, and then actually it's really cool because you can see, if the show off will get out of the way. Oh my gosh, dude. Hi, yes, I love you, but I need to show the people the Java fern. Hi. It's really cool because you can see how the Java fern actually grows. The roots come down off of the leaves and off of the dead leaves sometimes. So like all this like dead stuff in here, I actually kept that on there because the Java fern will sprout babies off of the dead as well. So this is the tank after a deep maintenance, and it looks a little cloudy right now, but it'll clear up very, very soon. He asked a very important question of, he doesn't understand the ecosystem part of this whole process. So I wanted to explain it a little bit. I actually am planning on doing a very in-depth research, scientific video about how ecosystems work and how they work within the glass box as well. And because he saw how much work I was doing on his tank, and he was asking about the algae problems and all of that. Algae is not usually a problem. An overabundance of algae is. And that just means that your nutrients aren't balanced. So in this tank, for instance, there's not a lot of fast growers. So there's a lot of excess nutrients from the fish pooping, the shrimp pooping, the snails pooping. All of that gets into the substrate, and it actually creates the fertilizer for the plants. But the hair grass and stuff down here, yes, it is growing. It's doing very well. The repens in the back are doing very well. That one Anubias is doing really well, but new tank syndrome is a huge thing, and it's never fun, even for somebody who's doing this for years. I mean, 15, 20 years, you still have new tank syndrome. You can do the same exact thing over and over and over again, and each tank will be different. So, like I said in the beginning of the video, it's really cool because this tank is doing really well, and the algae was only on the glass. There's only a little bit on the rocks and the plants and stuff, but the plants are doing phenomenal, but they're not fast growing. They are very slow growing, especially the Anubias and the Java fern. The hair grass is a little bit faster than those, but I had to do this build on a very limited supply, and I didn't have the plants that I wanted to put in here. And just the resources and stuff like that. So I just did a really quick scape to put a video out. It was a very fun video. I just wanted to put something out before I moved from South Carolina, but now I have all my stuff. So I did a complete rehaul of the tank, but now it's more matured, and all of the poop and biological matter and stuff like that is getting into the substrate. And also the aqua soil that I put in there has to acclimate to underwater as well, and that releases more nutrients than the plants are using, so then that creates the algae. It's a very, very short explanation of what's happening. With new tanks, there is a lot more work to do in the beginning of it, but once the tank gets established, yes, you're gonna have green spot algae and the brown algae that you saw on here on the tank glass, and stuff like that, and basic maintenance stuff. However, it will be a lot easier down the road. Now I've added in the crypts. They are also slower growing, but I put those in here because I don't want to have to trim the tank constantly, and I don't want him to have to constantly trim or maintain this tank. So I do a little bit less of a fast grower. I don't do much fast growers in a small tank because you don't want the maintenance. This was, a huge maintenance session, but it's been up and running for, I don't know, a month and a half-ish. I don't know, I have to look back at the video to see how long it actually has been. Time is going by like crazy. So, but I also added some snails in here, some ram's horns from my other tanks, and they will reproduce a little bit, but it'll help with the algae that actually created inside of the tank. And also, a lot of people will say that ram's horns are a bad thing. They're a pest. To me, any snail isn't a pest. If you overfeed, yes, they will become overpopulated and everything, but they only reproduce for the food that they have. So if you only feed what you're supposed to, and you don't have an overabundance of biological matter or mold or algae, anything like that, and your tank is balanced, they will stay balanced and they will not overpopulate. So I actually have a couple tanks that I overfeed so that they will reproduce, because I have a pea puffer that absolutely loves ram's horns. So I try to make as many ram's horns as I can. So I do overfeed those tanks, but even trumpet snails, Malaysian trumpet snails, they go into the substrate and they aerate it for you, and it's a great, great snail. So each snail has their own benefit to an ecosystem, and that's just part of the ecosystem. It's a cleanup crew. So a couple of ram's horns in here to help with that, a little bit of algae that should come in here, and added in more plants. The more plants you have, the better your tank is going to get balanced. So I also added the pothos in. We're gonna see how those roots look in the tank, see how my dad likes them and everything, and then we're gonna go from there. But those roots should soak up as much nutrient. Hi, Bo. Those roots should soak up a lot of nutrients in the water column, and they will help a lot. All right, so now that the explanation's out of the way, the tank is cleared up a little bit. Like I said, it'll clear up as we go, and the filter and everything will catch everything, but excuse you. But now it is time to reveal the tank and see what my dad thinks. And I'm gonna move this tripod back. I've got a couple little gifts for him, and we'll see what he likes. All right, Dad, come on in, see what you think.
What you got?
What do you think?
Cool. I like the plants coming up the top like that.
I thought you would.
Yeah, I like that. That's not bad. My shrimp still in there?
Your shrimp are still in there. I've seen about 3 or 4 of them while I was cleaning them up.
We've got some snails.
Yep, I've got
Cool.
some ram's horn snails in there that will help with some algae. So thankfully the tank it's doing very well. The algae was just on the glass, so I cleaned up all the algae, and
Nice.
it'll be really nice.
Still got that boy in there?
He's right there in front, being a show off like normal.
I see him. Cool. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Good
All
job.
right. So now that I have done everything, I have a little bit of something for you to keep this tank up and running. I've got a couple little things. So I think you already had this, but got you some Betta food and your very own prime and water conditioner, so you can do water changes, and of course feed the Betta.
Nice.
The shrimp should be fine, but I also have some shrimp food as well that we can do that. And then got your very own hose, so you can do
My own hose?
Your own hose. And then you've got a little bit of a brush, so you can brush off the algae and stuff. And then you've got razor blades out the yin yang, so you know where to get those. But I use this brush for the corners and the silicone on here, because you don't want the razor blade to hit that.
Right.
And then of course your own very own little tiny little bucket for water changes.
I love little
It's
buckets.
so cute. And it's perfect for little nano tanks like this. And then finally, your very own scaping tools.
Sweet.
Open on up. So I left all the plastic on there. That's the fun part of opening stuff. Taking all the plastic off and brand new. So we got 2
Nice.
different kinds of tweezers, spatula, and some scissors.
Check it out,
There
Bo
as
Dude.
well. So now you can keep this tank up and running, and you have my help as well.
Nice. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate it. Can you show me how to use all these?
I will show you how to use all of them. I'll show you anything you want to know, and he told me that he is going to want to learn and skate and do all of that. So I'm going to teach him a lot of stuff I know and carry on the knowledge. So
Sweet. Thank you.
you're very welcome. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that little small video. And
I got more projects Ashley's got me doing.
he's offered. Don't let him fool you. But hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know if you have any suggestions down below. Peace out.